Hey, so it's Glenn, and I have been sick. That's why I maybe sound weird. I know I sound weird to myself as I'm speaking, but I don't know what it's going to sound like on the actual video until I finally find someplace to edit some videos. um, yeah, a lot's been going on, but I wanted to break out of my freeze, I guess, my emotional freeze, based on all that's going on in the world right now, uh, to mark the occasion that my 12th book was published today, The Thing in the Attic, and Anderson Brothers Paranormal Investigation. And yes, we're in World War III. I'm laughing because otherwise I'd be crying. I'm laughing because it's so insane. It doesn't make any sense that we're here and how we got here, but I want to talk about escapist things that I have on offer for you. My book, I have a lot more to say, and there is a dog waiting to lick my face. She was sadly pouting in the window when I drove up, and now her tail is wagging, and I can't keep her waiting. It kills me to keep her waiting. But yeah, I'll have a lot more to say tomorrow unless I freeze. In which case it will be another day, but it'll be the same vlog episode. So for now, The Thing in the Attic is, despite what's going on today, this book takes place back in the good old days. It takes place in 2009. And it deals with millennial teenagers and, they're aspiring YouTube influencers, and, they start investigating the paranormal, and it's a very short book. It's a fast read. It's under 200 pages. It's book one in a series, but it's not the kind of series that's like generally going to be cliffhangers. Like, it's going to be self-contained episodes that, allow us to grow up with these kids and just have fun, like that's the great thing about this book is you can dive into these pages and it's so weird. It is so I don't know, like, to me, I think it's so weird because it's so real, and it comes from, years of working with teenagers, years of being a teenager at one point, and a kid. Because one of the three protagonists is only 9 years old, and he's the craziest. He's one of my craziest characters, and makes me laugh so much. And this book and these characters bring me such genuine joy. And I really, really hope that this is a place you can escape to as well in these mad times. And just have a good time for a little while. It's okay. It's okay to stop doom scrolling. Because the horrible crap, it's gonna keep happening whether we're looking or not, and we can catch up. It's not hard to catch up. I'm trying to limit myself as of this minute. I'm just now deciding this. I'm going to be limiting myself to an hour a day tops of catching up with what's going on in the world. And, because it's wrecking me, man, it's wrecking me. But more on that when I come back after getting licked by a dog. And another thing that brings me just pure joy, pure unfiltered joy. Dogs licking my face, and this new novel, this new very short novel, The Thing in the Attic and Anderson Brothers Paranormal Investigation. It's out in hardback, which is I think $24.99. The ebook is $6.99. And most of my readers are ebook readers. But the hardback, it's case bound, so there's not a separate jacket. It's printed directly onto the book. Which is the way that I was able to do this hardback at a better price point than the other hardbacks, some of the other hardbacks I have out. And yeah, like I said, it's a book one, and my book ones are generally pretty short. Here are the characters, here is their world, and here's an adventure. It's like, here's something that they did. And, once it's the setup, but it's also, it's not just the setup, but once we've done the setup, books tend to start getting longer and longer and longer, because now these guys, and we can dive deeper into their lives and who they are and what they're all about as we progress. And I'm hopeful for book 2 to come out next year, same time, early March. And, this is a series. These characters are so fun to write. I intend to write them. They're, the older ones they're like 15 in this book. I fully intend to write these characters into their 40s. Not like lightning speed or anything, but every book will, progress maybe a year in their lives, but this is the beginning of it. The Anderson Brothers Paranormal Investigations. It's horror comedy, kind of like Ghostbusters or Gremlins, I don't know. I think it's more, this one is more funny, I think, than it is creepy, but I am apparently a terrible judge of when I write something terrifying, because people are always telling me that they're terrified of, like, my werewolf novel. Some ghost stories I've written just have horrified them to the point they couldn't keep reading. Like, I had a friend who couldn't finish reading The Ghost in the Olive Grove because he was so scared. And I'm like, really? There was nothing scary in that story. So I'm not a good judge of it. I don't think it's that scary or creepy, but I do think it's funny. And I keep laughing. I sound like I have a chain smoker's cough, but it's all just fluids building up in my lungs from that illness I am recovering from that I had over the weekend. But again, I'm rambling. I've got to go get licked by a dog. I'll talk to you again in a minute on another day. Okay, so it's been more than a couple of days since I started this vlog episode. It's like the middle of April now. But there's been a lot going on. There's been a lot going on, like, by the time you're seeing this one, hopefully things have been on track for a little bit, because I know I have several vlogs edited. The last time I had a space to set up my computer, I had time to edit, but I didn't have time to upload. So it's been weeks. It's been like 2 months, I think, as I record this, since a single video has gone up on my channel. My website is just gone. There's a lot going on, and I'll catch you up on that in the next one. But for now, getting back in the rhythm of things, I just want to talk about my new book. Oh, and technically, like, I felt like this was cheating. This is technically a new hat, which I said I would get at 100 subscribers. It looks just like my old work beanie, but it's not dog-eaten. But I mean, I actually got another one too.
that's a different color. So I got new hats. I wanted to get a bet. Like the hat I was eyeing was this cool She-Ra hat, but I thought it was pink. It turns out it was red, and in today's political climate, I cannot bring myself to wear a red hat. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the political climate and that we're on the verge of World War III, if not just already in it. Not in this one, not in this episode. This episode is all about The Thing in the Attic and Anderson Brothers' Paranormal Investigation, which, I don't know, I've been carrying this around with me in my backpack like a security blanket since it came out. I really, see, that's about how thick it is. It's a nice little case-bound hardback. And, you know, so I had so much fun writing this book, and I'm about to get to work on the second one so that it comes out next year. And like I've been having to stop and take notes. I just start laughing at work, and people know I'm insane, because I just see things the characters would be doing at summer camp, or you know, because the second one takes place at summer camp. Anyway, but we're talking about the first one. So this book, I've probably said a lot of this before, but I'll get to some things we haven't talked about before. For anyone who doesn't know, The Thing in the Attic is set in my Nightfire Realm continuity. It takes place in 2009. It's about millennial teenagers with YouTube channels, which is actually one of the main reasons I started doing this YouTube channel was research for this book, because the best way to learn a thing is to do it, and I knew these characters were going to be YouTubers. At least a couple of them are. And you know, and both characters, if you've read other fiction set in the Nightfire Realm, you're familiar with Luke Anderson from the Nightlight stories, and this is 10 years after Nightlight 2. And it isn't Nightlight 3. There is a Nightlight 3. I have written it. It's coming out after the third book in this series comes out, because that's when it takes place, and I didn't want to spoil the first three Anderson Brothers books by releasing Nightlight 3 first, even though I wrote it. I think I wrote it right after I wrote this book. But you know, it's like the sequels, the next two books of this the next several books of this series are already in my head, and Nightlight 3 is a few years after that, so we reference those books that haven't been written. And that's why that one's on hold. But anyway, I'm rambling because we're talking about my stories, we're talking about my children's. So I have a lot in here. I'm trying to stay on topic. So, right, so Luke Anderson is one of the three protagonists, and he's from those Nightlight stories. And his little brother, Jasper, is the reincarnation of Jasper Sari from Nightlight 2, which was unintentionally set up. Like, the end of Nightlight 2 was not intentionally setting up a spin-off or a sequel. These characters just have had more to say in the Nightfire Realm. Like, I wrote Scarecrow was a short fiction piece that you could read on my website if it were still there. But that's a problem we're working on fixing, don't worry. It's also on all my stuff is on Amazon, so you can find Scarecrow there. But it was like after Nightlight 2 came out, in the middle of writing Scarecrow, you know, just we found out what happened to Luke Anderson after that story. And then he and Jasper started showing up in the Dario Young stories. I've written 2 of those, but only the first one's come out. But they're in it. They showed up in Mommy Doesn't See Me doing paranormal investigations. Like, so this novel is kind of the origin story of the paranormal investigator phase of their lives. There are 3 protagonists. It's a team. It's an ensemble protagonist kind of story. So the 3rd protagonist is Dario Young, from Dario Young and the GPS from Hell, which takes place 5 years after this book. So, if you read this book and you really like it and you want to keep going, there are stories that take place after this book that these characters are in. But you don't need to read any of the external fiction. You can just pick up this book and you won't be lost. Because while it does share a timeline, a continuity, characters, settings, it's the beginning of its own narrative. So you don't have to immerse yourself in the Nightfire realm just to enjoy this book. I can't even articulate how happy I am. I mean, this has been sitting on the shelf for years, unpublished. I am so happy that it has finally been published and that people are reading it. And, I never look at the numbers, and it's not like it's a bestseller or anything, but generally my books don't move very much at first, but I was having a bad night and I just decided to might as well look at the numbers. And this was like during the first week that it had been out, because it came out first week of March. And not only the book had been selling without any marketing at all, except for this. I do YouTube, I have a website, but I haven't gotten into my marketing campaign for it at all yet. But it was moving. Not enough to get me out of my predicament that I'm in these days, but enough that it wasn't 0, and there were already 2 reviews, which I'm going to read to you because I love both of them, and one of them is a 1-star review, the other one is a 5-star review, and I think they're both great. Like, I want to use the 1-star review in marketing materials. Like, I'm gonna put my eyeballs on. So, I mean, let's do that. Oh no, I've got my Surface down here. I was just researching the guy who did the 1-star review. Oh, fart. Okay. Alright, here we go. And y'all, don't come for this guy. Like, if you... Like, this is fine. Like, 1-star reviews, I've talked about them before on this channel. I have maybe 2 or so 1-star reviews. Both of them I found hilarious. Well, this would make 3 for different things. Like, and all of them I have found hilarious, and I've agreed with them. Like, they're critical of the book based on things that I want to be in there. So, if nobody hates your stuff, it's, you need to examine yourself as an artist. Like, what are you even saying? Like, you shouldn't ever, in my opinion, as a creator, try to please everyone. If you're true to your vision, if you're true to yourself and your values, you're going to piss some people off. You're going to make people hate your work. And that should, it's like there should be a mix. There are going to be people who love your work. There are going to be people who hate your work. There are going to be people who don't care one way or the other. it's, if you're really saying something, you know, expect to piss people off and don't apologize for it. So, you know, anything people have complained about in bad reviews of my stuff, that, you know, I see what they're talking about, I agree. No apologies. Like, it's not for them. And so this book was clearly not for this guy. So he says, like, the subject line or whatever says, wall to wall non-stop profanity, which I looked through this guy's his other reviews, and that's a common theme. Dude does not like the swears in his literature. So other people he's given bad reviews, it's been because of profanity, and wokeness and social justice. I mean, come on, me. So this is not a guy who's going to like my work at all. And that's okay. I didn't write the book for this guy, apparently. But I appreciate his taking the time to read it and to review it, so that people know that it's wall-to-wall non-stop profanity. Which, I mean, it's Dario Young. If you've read Dario Young and the GPS from Hell, you know that he has a rather spicy vernacular. He can't stop swearing, and it's funny. Well, okay, I'll read the review. Couldn't even get past the 3rd chapter. It's like the author was getting paid by the swear word. More profanity and crudeness in just the first 30 pages of this than in any book I've ever read. Yes. And so I looked at page 30, you know, 3rd chapter is actually addressing the problem he's talking about. Dario is in trouble. He's being sent to the principal's office because he will not stop swearing. So I thought it was funny that the chapter that's actually calling the character out on his gratuitous profanity is where he quits. But no, just looking at the other guys, like, let's show you what he thinks of Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I haven't read yet. It's on my list. There's a friend of mine who's reading it and really enjoying it. And yeah, he gave good old Dungeon Crawler Carl 2 stars. So liked it better than mine. You know, author certainly has talent, but his obsession with profanity and foot fetish ... I'm just looking at the top. Like, it just lists all of his reviews. There were some funny ones in here to me. Like, well, funny because it's clear that nothing I write is going to be for this reader. Like, I wanted to suggest, well, if you don't like profanity, maybe try my fantasy fiction like Metronomes and The Legends of Nod. But clearly, you know, he 1 star for one, and it starts with him griping about political correctness. Here's another 1 star where he writes, worth missing. The scariest thing was how horrifyingly PC some of the stories were. So yeah, my stuff's not for him, because The Legends of Nod is very, and Metronomes are both very much about the power of diversity. They're very woke. So that's the 1 star review, and I love it. Just remember kids, there is more profanity and crudeness in just the first 30 pages of this than in any book he's ever read. I hope that's true. Like, I'm proud of that. So now for the 5 star review, which, you know, I mean, this one, reading this feels like smelling my own farts, but just so you can get a sense of the contrast. Like, I love that there's such an absolute polarization between these 2 reviews. There is love, 5 stars, hate, 1 star, couldn't even get past page 30. So the 5 star review The header is delightfully creepy and funny. Couldn't put it down. Hilarious and so enjoyably creepy. It's a little Stranger Things meets Supernatural. The three main characters are well developed and relatable. Luke and Jasper's struggle to adapt to change after their parents' divorce while trying to connect as brothers is so endearing. Dario Young is the comic relief friend we all need, but all the characters have delightful, fun moments. The mom is a whole interesting individual on her own. Would love a story that focuses on her. Well, wait for it. Because, things happen in my brain. I definitely have plans for her. But anyway, back to it. What I love about this author is the little Easter eggs in all his writing from his other stories. They are all interconnected in the same paranormal universe. I highly recommend reading Nightlight, Nightlight 2, The Chronicles of Nightfire, Texas, The Ghost in the Olive Grove, and Cry Wolf if you want to have fun connecting the story dots. I appreciate that so much. Oh, and Dario Young and the GPS from Hell. All the stories have the right balance of creepiness, humor, and page-turning mystery. I can't wait to read what the Anderson brothers get up to next. So, see, maybe you'll love it like this reader. Maybe you'll hate it like the other reader. Maybe you'll be in between. Maybe you won't even read it. Which is fine. You're still welcome in my space. But yeah, I think also, like, if you want to connect all the story dots, well, I don't know if I even have it off the top of my head. I would add to that list this reader provided Scarecrow and Mommy Doesn't See Me. Directly connect to the characters in this particular novel. So, I mean, that's really it. I hope you will read it. I hope that you will leave a review on Amazon if you do read it, if you are so kind and so inclined, because reviews help sell the book, and I do have plans to do a very intentional marketing campaign for this one. My life situation at the moment has kind of set me back on a lot of things, and again, I'll get into that in the next video. And I'm being very intentional about getting back in the rhythm of making videos, even though I'm not entirely sure when next I will have time to upload them and edit. Even I edited several vlogs and an I Can't Sleep. I have several podcast episodes recorded and ready to go. It takes hours to edit them. I just only have so much time when I do have a space right now that I can't do everything. So it's been kind of frustrating because right now there's so much to fix. But again, get into that in the next video. Meanwhile, I hope you'll check out my new novel, The Thing in the Attic, and Anderson Brothers Paranormal Investigation. If I've fixed my website by the time this video goes out, and again, if you are so kind and so inclined, please do check out my author website, glensladeclarkjr.com. Leave a like, subscribe, interact with this video to help the algorithm force me on other people, if you will. And, if you're still there, thank you for still being there. And not giving up on me during these tumultuous times, which are tumultuous times for us all, I think. But yeah, that's gonna be my vlog for the moment. And I will be back very soon with another episode. So until then, take care and happy reading.